we're gonna shoot these guys, we're gonna stand up to these guys. So this caused him tension with the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, who started saying, no, we can't have extrajudicial killings, we can't have massacres, we can't have a war here. One of the quotes he said was, I might die, but you're going to wake the tiger, which is Mexico. The people of Mexico are angry. On Day of the Dead, on November the 1st, in the evening, he was in the center of Uruapan. So he was in this moment of this celebration, Day of the Dead. What a moment. And an assassin came and shot him dead at point blank range. It was a 17-year-old kid who himself was apparently a meth addict in and out of rehab, who they recruited and sent as cannon fodder.
It's probably harder to get drugs across the border right now, right? And so finding new ways of making money is important. So now you start going toward extortion of your own people. But is this the drug trade individuals that are now just pivoting towards this economic violence, or is it a whole different thing?
So in many cases, it's the same organizations, like the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Now, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel is a very, very big, sprawling criminal organization. So it's got some people in the organization dedicated to trafficking drugs, but it's also got the local plazas, as they call them, the local turfs around the country. Important business for them is selling drugs locally. Selling crystal meth is a big deal. Selling weed and selling cocaine. It's generally the three drugs they sell, their drug selling points. And then they'll have their people dedicated to extortion. Really, their big income is just shaking people down. And for them, it's kind of like easy money. It's like, why work for a living? Well, just go around with a bunch of AK-47s and AR-15s and say to people, you pay me, you work for a living. You pay me, no at all.
So there's really no way around it, right? If these guys roll into your town, you basically just got to give it up. It's very, very unfortunate. So no disrespect to them. You can see why the authorities are so upset about this, and you can see why a country like America might say, look, we want to actually use our military to stop what's going on here, because clearly the Mexican government and the Mexican military, are in a position to be pushed around by cartels. And the cartels, they're modeling themselves on the US military. They're training with people from the US military to get the upper hand on the Mexican authorities. But unfortunately, that goes all the way to the top until you actually go to war with the full-blown American military. And I don't think that anybody wants to see the cartels go to war with the American military. I do think that, maybe some kind of changing of the drug laws could actually calm this down. I hope one day that might actually be a case, but then again, it's a bit of a long shot these days. But yeah, it's just really messed up, man. I can't believe these guys are actually eating people. It's just really messed up, man. Allegedly. What the hell? I thought that was really interesting. I just wanted to let you guys know that. I'll be back tomorrow with a couple of videos. I might take a little break from videos soon. Been doing a lot of just really dark, sad stuff on this channel, man. And I know you guys are enjoying it, and I know you appreciate my reporting. It's been so refreshing to just have a whole new platform to be able to share stuff with you guys. I feel like some of the content that I was making before maybe wasn't quite what you guys wanted to see, but I do feel like we're really locked in now, and I'm putting my talents to use for the things that you guys want to know about. So I really appreciate you choosing me as your news source. I'll keep you guys updated on anything major that happens in politics, music, culture, crime, war, all around the world. It's crazy. Okay, so thanks so much. That's me for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow with some content. And for now, I'm out, guys.
The Trump regime is not handling the Supreme Court's ruling, striking down Trump's tariffs against the world very well after Donald Trump held a presser where he whined and almost cried and started also talking about how a man wanted to kiss him and that he's going to be a good boy, but there's nothing going to change with the tariff regime that's in place. In fact, the tariffs will be higher, he says, and he doesn't need to go to Congress. What a bizarre presser. But then you had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent up the ante, make it even weirder and more deranged. These are very unserious people. And Bessent went on state regime media, which calls itself Fox, and he said what we're planning on doing now potentially is we're going to do embargoes against any country that doesn't honor the trade deals, which were non-existent to begin with, that got struck down by the United States Supreme Court. We're going to exercise embargo power right now. Okay, here's what Bessent said on state regime media. Let's play it.
These trade deals that you and Jameson Greer and President Trump have negotiated, say with the UK, say with the European Union, that were done in part with leverage from the tariffs. And for that matter, the peace deals as well to solve these wars. Are those deals under any kind of threat now? Do you think everyone will honor the deals even though now supposedly the tariffs have been done asunder by the Supreme Court?
Well, again, we can move to 232 and 301 tariffs, so I think that everyone is going to honor their deal. And there is the draconian alternative that Supreme Court reaffirmed that the president has. He has a right to a complete embargo.
Right.
Like, he can just cut countries off. He can cut whole product lines off. We can't receive any money. So, I would call on all countries to honor their agreements and move forward.
Well, one of the things with that, too, in addition to the fact that you're going to do embargoes against the UK, the European Union, and other nations, is these deals don't even really exist in the first place. They're like fake deals that Donald Trump posted social media posts. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Then Besson said, well, this was a big loss for the American people. Here, play this clip.
I listened to you speak this morning, and we've heard from the president. It sounds like the position of the administration is, really, nothing has changed today.
Well, to be clear, today was a loss for the American people, because by taking away President Trump's instantaneous leverage using the IEPA authority, the American people have suffered a significant setback.
Yeah, no, we didn't, actually. The American people were suffering because of this, and there was no statutory authority. That was the ruling that was made. And finally, Besson describes the Supreme Court ruling as now giving corporate welfare to people as a result of this ruling. Here, play this clip.
Questions on the tariffs so that I understand what happens next. You mentioned the revenue will not change for Treasury, but what about the revenue you've already collected? What about the $175 billion? Do you anticipate having to make refunds at Treasury?
Well, I'm not going to get out ahead of the courts. And as the president said, the Supreme Court was very discombobulated on this. They didn't give any guidance on it. I think it's probably not 175. I think it's probably closer to 130, but still a substantial amount. They have remanded it back down to a lower court. And as Amy Coney Barrett said in the original hearing that I was at, this could be a mess. And this could take months, this could take years to litigate and to get to the payouts.
Oh, so you're going to litigate it and you're just not going to refund it? It was actually pretty clear what the ruling said. I want to call in Professor Justin Wolfers, economist over at the University of Michigan. Justin, it is great to see you. So that's what Besant is saying. Embargoes, they're going to make it messy and they're going to try to litigate this, that this is bad for the American people. First, I want to get your reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling and then your reaction to what you just heard right there from Besant.
Yeah, actually, I think, Ben, I think it's great that we have a chance to chat, because there's a set of legal issues and there's a set of economics issues. So I'll stay out of the law and you'll stay out of the economics. How's that, mate?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, where do you start? Okay, so the thing is, watching those Fox clips knocked me off course, because when lying liars lie, that's all you can think about. So let me just go back to what actually happened today. The United States is not a monarchy. We were not set up to be a monarchy. The Constitution explicitly granted the power over taxes, and tariffs are a tax to the Congress. The Congress never gave that to the president. The president just tried to take it. The Supreme Court today reminded him that, in fact, we have a people's house. Amazing. That really changes, I think, how you understand.
I need to ask you about one of the most infamous crime scenes that people are discussing right now, Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. Now, many people, as you can imagine, have disputed this finding. They said that he did not actually, that in fact someone actually killed him. What would be your opinion about that specific death?
There's a lot of ways to kill people. And one of the ways is to...
Did Jeffrey Epstein take his own life? And how did he manage to do it alone in that jail cell in New York City? Also, what happens in the minds of psychopaths and serial killers that make them different from the average person? And how can you tell if your neighbor or your coworker is one of these disturbing killers? Well, meet Barbara Butcher. She's the woman who has spent over 2 decades staring straight into this void. She's investigated more than 5,500 death scenes, hundreds of homicides, and some of the most haunting tragedies in American history. From the rubble of 9/11 to the quiet corners of unsolved mysteries, she listens to what the dead can tell us. But today we're going further, much further. What drives criminals to the edge of humanity, and what can the minds behind these monstrous acts actually teach us about the world that we live in? Some of the content that we discussed today is graphic, so just brace yourself. And we have also censored some of the words in order to comply with monetization policy. But anyway, this is a conversation with one of the most fearless voices in forensic science. So sit back, relax, and welcome to camp. Barbara Butcher, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
I am very excited to speak with you. You have written many books. You were the star of multiple TV shows, another TV show coming out relatively soon. And your role is that you are a death investigator.
Yep.
So in brief, could you explain to me what a death investigator is and how that's different from, say, a coroner or someone that conducts autopsies or a crime scene investigator? What exactly is your role?
I get sort of a mixed role. When you think about the investigation of a death, let's say a gunshot wound, there's a person who is an MD called a forensic pathologist or medical examiner who will autopsy that body and give you the cause of death. So let's say a gunshot wound to the head. But is it a homicide or an accident? That's my job. I go to the scene of the death and working alongside the police independently, but yet cooperatively, I examine the body in its scene and it gives it the context. If there's a gun laying next to him and I see gunshot residue on his hand and he's been despondent, okay, I'm going to lean towards, it's not proven, but I'm going to lean that way until we get all the evidence in. And, if there's no gun there, obviously some kind of homicide, right? It could be even an accident. I had this kid out on Houston Street, East Houston, and he had just bought his very first gun, Saturday night special, flimsy little thing. But he was out there in the morning with his friends, and he was showing them his little Roy Rogers tricks, like a cowboy. So he's spinning the revolver on his hand. It flies out of his hand, and the hammer hits the pavement and shoots him straight between the eyes. So his first shot was his best shot, was his last shot.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
So, playing around with guns is not a great idea.
But it's your role to go in there and figure out what has happened here.
Right, because his friends, although they were trembling in the corner, they could just as easily have shot him. Or, plenty of people do this. They'll get a gun, they'll go out in front of people and shoot themselves in the head. That's an angry, they want to make a big splash going out. And so it could have been anything. But in looking at the dirt, at the with a gun hit, in questioning his friends who were terrified, they were freaked out. We came to the fact that this is an accident. And later on, we got a motorist passing by on East Houston. He called the police when he got home. He said, I saw this kid out there flipping a gun around. I think he might have shot himself. Thanks for waiting, by the way, till 3 hours till you get home.
Yeah.
Before telling us. But
wow.
So my job is to get the context of the death. I examine the body, examine the scene, question witnesses, and then I work with the crime scene unit. Like, hey guys, look at the angle on this entry wound here. Obviously, it ricocheted from someplace high. Let's look for a bullet impact mark, and then we can figure it out. We can see what position the shooter and the shootee were in when it happened. So that's my job. I write a report and have my photographs and my sketches, and we take that to the medical examiner, the forensic pathologist. So when they do their autopsy the next morning, they have that context. It's an informed autopsy. Now, a lot of people think that forensic pathologists, like on TV, they run out to the scene of a death. And they look around, and, they haven't got any protective clothing, but maybe a little glove. And they'll look around and say, yeah, that looks like a bad one. Probably a shot came from up there. Hold on now. And then they'll touch the entrance wound and say, you know what? That's a .45 caliber. Really? You sure it's not a 9mm?
Yeah.
Oh, your finger measured exactly. I mean, first of all, how could they go out to the scene? Because they're doing an autopsy. Are you going to leave the body on the table and run out to a homicide?
Good point.
You have investigators like me. Many of us, like in New York, we're medically trained, or you have to have a master's or a doctorate in forensic anthropology. I had a medical background. And it was the most interesting, fascinating, it was the best career I could ever have imagined.
And how many years did you do this?
Let's see, I did 23 years with the medical examiner's office in New York. And then I went private for a while after I retired.
Wow.
I did cases for attorneys and families who were questioning the findings. So I did that for a long time, and then I said, the hell with it. It's too heartbreaking. Let me go do something nice. And COVID hit, and I had plenty of time to write a book.
Wow. I'm so curious. You are an expert in crime scenes, and we're here in New York City.
Yeah.
So I need to ask you about one of the most infamous crime scenes that people are discussing right now, and that is the of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, as we know, the disgraced financier who ostensibly, based off of the reporting, is a sex trafficker that in his cell here in New York City. Now, many people, as you can imagine, have disputed this finding. They said that he did not actually, but in fact, someone actually killed him or someone gave him the means to. Based off of what you know about New York City, the New York City penitentiary and sort of jail system, that specific unit that he was in, and the nature of that crime scene, what would be your opinion about that specific death?
Well, there's something in the middle. There's a lot of ways to kill people.
I'll get there as soon as I can.
And one of the ways is to encourage them and provide the means for them to kill themselves. So let's say you're facing life in prison, and they tell you things like, Jeffrey, there's a couple of thousand people out in the world terrified that you'll never speak again. You know that, right? So I want to tell you that, if you do time, it's going to be in the psycho ward. You're going to be with the worst of the worst. You're going to have maybe daily beatings. I don't know. It could be anything. So you get him in that horrible mood. He's already freaked out, right? He's already kind of depressed because he knows this is it. And so you talk to him about it. And it's a threat, of course. Now, I'm not saying who did this in particular, but let's just say that's my opinion. Now, how does he commit when he was on watch? Well, they took him off the watch. Yeah, he's okay now. It's only been, 2-3 days? He looks pretty good to me. And, his roommate is not pleased with the accommodations. Let's take his roommate out. Okay, what else can we do? Now we're supposed to check his cell through the window every 20 minutes. Yeah. You know what? These poor guys, these correction officers, they're exhausted. They're doing a double. They're on overtime. Hey guys, you know what? Don't worry. Just relax tonight. What else do we do? Didn't really have to do much about the sheets. Even paper sheets, if you twist them the right way, you can twist them. It's easy. And there's plenty of places from, the end of the bed, the cot, sometimes the grid, like the heat and air conditioning grid. Well, there's rarely air conditioning, but the heat grid. And I've seen a couple of those. So let's just suppose that people talk to him and they tell him it's in his best interest to go now. And then just make it opportune. Just make it so that nobody's watching. Nobody's here to save you. Just, he has the means now. So, when you think of the huge number of people who are in his files, and you think about the power he wielded in the world, he knew all the secrets. It's a bunch of guys who were having a great time. Oh, they live in public life. They're always, have to be perfect. They have to be in government and all these things. But there's this one little place with our best buddy, Jeffrey. He's got lots of entertainment. We go down to his island. We have fun among ourselves, and no one ever talks. Well, for Christ's sake, you had to know that Jeffrey was going to say something or have some kind of records. He had enormous power. Enormous. So, no one was going to let him live to testify. So did anybody murder him, per se? No. I feel like he was encouraged.
I guess that specific jail that he was in would have been difficult for someone to get in there undetected.
Oh, gosh.
Or the amount of people that would be required to cover up, a unit going in there to murder him. It would have been much easier just to give him the means to then take himself out.
Sure. Like the camera outside his cell was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. That happened. Oh, I think somebody threw something and it hit it. Well, I don't know. But if you wanted to sneak someone in to take him out, it would require that you'd have to have all personnel, like, locked away in a room or something.
The janitor.
Yeah.
Like anyone that's
the
cook.
chef, the cook, the corrections officer, other inmates, all would have to be sequestered somewhere. And then on top of that, you'd have to turn out the entire video system. It would have to fail throughout the prison complex.
Not just in front of the cell, but in front of the front door, in front of the next door, in front of the hallway.
And when you turn those off, there's a record of that. They were turned off. So you can't bust the whole system.
Right.
So I just feel like he was encouraged to murder himself.
Now, do you think that, based off of the records that we have, in your opinion, do you think that he was given anything in order to do that, or do you think just the opportunity and the motive was enough?
Just the opportunity and the motive, and knowing that no one was going to stop him. His toxicology was clean, to my knowledge. It was. And so no one gave him tranquilizers and said, here, eat these until you die.
Right.
You know? So, he was strongly encouraged.
Have you ever responded to or investigated a bed sheet hanging similar to this one?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So with the bed sheets that he was given, it is possible to, with those types of bed sheets, given enough time and opportunity.
Yeah, even with paper bed sheets, if you twist it right, you can do it. Yeah. So there was plenty of opportunity. I mean, I had one in a cell who took off the bed sheets, twisted them just right, and tied them into the grate, the air duct grate. And one really interesting one I had was he was a prisoner only because he was a very important witness in an organized crime case. Now, he was arrested for doing crimes, but they had him, like, locked away, a guard right outside, a correction officer, right outside his room. Now, it's the big metal door with the lucite window, right? So they called me up. They called and said, this prisoner, he's dead. He's laying on his bunk and somebody strangled him. Oh, wow, how'd that be? All right, I show up and I look at the guy just for a minute. And I say, just get the f*** out of here. How could it be? He's been under 24-hour watch and he's strangled with this sock. How could he do it? He would be screaming for air. I said, all right, let me explain to you how it works. This guy did not want to testify because if he did, his family would be killed. He knew it, right? So he decides, and all he has to do is his cot is here, opposite the window, but there's his cabinet for his possessions. So he opens the door, blocking his head. So the guard outside, the corrections officer, all he can see is the body, looks fine, laying there sleeping. But he takes off his stretchy sock, wraps it around his fingers, wraps it around and just pulls. Now, is it painful? No. If you do it the right way, it's actually pleasurable. And we know this because of autoerotic asphyxiation. People will suspend themselves from a ligature and use a pad so that they don't mark up their necks too much. Can you imagine showing up to the marketing meeting tomorrow and you've got these, big stripes across your neck?
Yeah, you got to wear the turtleneck that day.
Yeah, that's the turtleneck day. So we know what it feels like. Here's the thing, the physiology of it. If you cut off the air supply by strangling someone, crushing their larynx, it's horrible. Your brain is screaming for air. And that takes considerable force. Now, if you take, let's say, a belt, a really strong one, and you pull it so that the carotid arteries are obstructed, the blood can't go into the head, so they have a form of asphyxiation, suffocation. Again, painful. Here's the fun way. The veins in the neck, the jugular veins, are soft. It takes less than 4 pounds of pressure to occlude them. So you wrap a little something around your neck, and the air still goes in, you can breathe, and the carotid arteries can still pump the blood to your head. The blood can't get out because the veins are blocked, right?
Wow.
And it builds up and up, and soon there's this surge of like endorphins that come out, and it's like a wild feeling. It's actually good. And so there you are, and you die. Now, what happens with autoerotic asphyxiation, they usually use a release. So they'll have like a knot and a something they hold in their hand here now to pull, so that when they pass out, when they go unconscious, their arm will fall and pull the ligature loose. Doesn't always work. And sometimes they just stay unconscious and the ligature is still closed and they die.
Oh, wow.
Now, I've got a bunch of these cases.
You've responded to many of these.
Yeah.
Now, this specific person in prison that was on watch,
it was not autoerotic. It was intentional. He
Right.
wanted to die. He had no release mechanisms.
but on a watch, so that he was being surveilled and was still
Yeah.
able to do this successfully.
Right, because the guy could, the correction officer could look right through the window, see his body laying there,
Right.
perfectly sleeping, and nice pajamas on. But he couldn't quite see all of his head because that cabinet door was open.
But it's just an interesting detail because so many people will refer to, the Epstein case. Like, how could someone take their own life when they're on watch? And you're saying, well, it's happened before. It's not unheard of. It's possible.
It happens all the time. I mean, watch, they're supposed to check him, every 20 minutes?
Right.
So you have a lot of good time, 20 minutes to hang yourself.
Which, granted, in his case, I think that they didn't check on him.
Right.
Which
Yes,
creates-
I think they fell asleep, the two officers, at
Right.
their computer terminals.
Right.
They were tired. Come on.
Yeah, it's a
How much
hard
can you
job.
work?
It's a hard job. I get it.
So the only reason that this guy could get away with it is, because he blocked his head. And even though there was a 24-hour watch outside, they just couldn't see it. Now, why did he get a 24-hour watch? Because he was incredibly valuable as a witness in this major organized crime
They
case.
needed him alive.
They needed him alive. And he's like, no, my whole family will be slaughtered. So
Wow.
he took the gentleman's way out, as they sometimes say.
Now, I'm curious, there's a detail that came out in the recent file release, and this specifically pertains to how they transport bodies, specifically in this hospital. And according to one of the file releases, because there was so much press and media outside, they put boxes and towels under a cover and then put that into one of the transport vans outside the prison.
Thank you.
And then moved his actual body out a different door into a different car. I'm curious if you've heard of this before.
That sounds about right.
It seems particular to me that they would pull this bait and switch, which on the one hand I get. If there's media everywhere, it's like, okay, we don't want to create such a big profile because it also looks bad on the prison. Let's just kind of keep things out of the public eye. But I'm curious if you've ever heard of something like that before.
Of course, we've done it.
Really?
Sure. Like Heath Ledger. He dies, famous actor. And it was a drug overdose, accidental. Media was all over that front of that building. They couldn't wait to see, is he coming out? Is he coming out? And somebody says, oh, well, the funeral director's coming to get him. So we'll go back to the back bay on the side street here and bring the body out. Yeah, that would be so cool. So everybody's got the hint. Oh, let's go over that way. Yeah, guys, that's where he's going to be. I don't know who told them that. Let me think now. Oh, yeah, never mind. So they all go over there and then we quick get him out the front.
Oh, wow.
Those kind of things happen all the time because for me, it's the dignity of the deceased is important. Now, I had a case in downtown Wall Street, right across from Trinity Church. This poor young guy jumps out a 25-story building, lands in the cemetery at Trinity Church, these ancient, 300-year-old gravestones. We're not ancient in America, are we? We don't have any good old stuff.
By American standards.
Sure, by American standards. This is not France or London, okay? So, his body, they were smashed. It knocked his head off. It was awful. And, all right, I respond and I see that around the fence are probably 60, 70, 80 people at the fence waiting to see him, because right now his parts are covered with sheets.
Protecting yourself.
And they're waiting to see him. And this is way back, around 94 maybe, where they didn't have, camera phones. So these couple of guys go into the drugstore and buy those throwaway cameras. And they come out there and they're waiting to take pictures of this poor guy. There's secretaries there, taxi cab people, regular folks. And I'll be damned if they didn't come and stand and wait for me to lift up the sheets. And I'm looking at them, I'm so angry. So I said to the police officers, look guys, do me a favor, pull the sheets upwards to form a tent all around him. We're going to encircle him, okay? Sure, yeah, they do it. You know what happened? Those people booed me. They actually booed. Boo, boo, what are you hiding? Let us see him, what are you hiding? I'm not kidding. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Wow.
I can't believe.
It was a mob. Like, they just wanted to see
It was a
the
mob.
carnage.
They wanted to see it. Yeah, and look, I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, this is like something you'll never see again. This is fascinating.
You should be a little ashamed about it.
But yeah, but you should at least have quiet dignity.
Right.
Like, don't make fun of the guy. Don't stare at him like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was troubled.
Right.
So they booed, and I just, I went into the tent and did my work and did the best I could to pull together his body parts. And we had pulled in a stretcher, and I covered him really well, tucked him in, and we walked out with the stretcher, and they were still booing.
Wow.
And I felt, I get it on one level. It's human curiosity, but on the other, I just felt so sad for this guy. I don't like my least favorite case to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful.
Hopeless.
It's really awful. It's hopeless. It's so sad. Especially the people who could get help but didn't. They're like, nah, he'll be okay. He'll be all right. His wife died. He'll get over it in time. No, he won't. For God's sake, he can't leave the chair.
Yeah.
So,
I want to discuss a few different cases that you've dealt with over your career. But before we talk about them, I would love for you just to contextualize how you deal with this. Because I imagine as we talk about the cases, there's going to be a sense of, there's going to be a sense of distance, perhaps, in the way that you talk about your work. And when we're talking about real people. But at the same time, you see this every day, multiple times a day. This is what you do day in, day out. So for the average person listening at home, it might feel calloused.
Oh, sure.
So I'm curious, how do you compartmentalize, on the one hand, dealing with the loss of human life and the tragedy that every life lost is. But at the same time, going to work, coming home, watching a movie with your husband, your kid, and moving on. So how do you deal with that kind of, that separation?
Well, you forgot to mention the worst part of it, evil. I saw true evil, pure evil, in so many situations that it's hard to believe that that's how the world really is.
Yeah, that's right.
So the only way you can do this job is with detachment. So, I'm going about my day eating candy bars, whatever I can do to relieve stress, going from case to case, and then I come up on a case where it's a home invasion and children have been killed. Now, I see the little boy, the mother and the father all face down next to each other, all shot. And I'm freaking out. I walk in and I'm like, because I know how this happened. I can see what happened. And immediately I have to drop a curtain in front of my emotions. I have to go cold. I have to go snap into my forensic, inquisitive, investigative, radically scientific head, because I'm no good to those victims if I'm all emotional. If I'm crying over the kid, how can I point out that the direction of the bullet means that he was shot from the front or anything like that? I have to be able to do my job because that's my service to the family and the victims. And so I shut down hard. Here's the problem. When you go home, you don't just lift that up. You can't lift that shield off. It's really, really difficult. There were times where I saw things so awful, so evil, that I didn't want to be in my own body anymore. I wanted to escape. Now, I don't drink or do drugs anymore. I mean, I don't drink or do drugs.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, anymore. So there was no relief. I'd go home and I'd just strip down, pull the sheets over my head, and just shiver in there. I didn't want to be in this brain that saw those things.
Right.
So hard to escape. Now, when I first started out, I was in training. I'm watching the autopsy of an 8-year-old girl. She's been smothered with garbage. And why? Well, her mother was out at a club, and this guy came over to her and said, "Hey, you want a party?" She said, "Yeah, sure." And he says, "Here, get us some," gives her $50. So she leaves with the $50. Back in 92, that's a nice little piece of money, right? And so he knows where she lives. He goes over to her house, and she's not there, but the 8-year-old daughter is. He says, "Okay, well, I'll take the 8-year-old." And he does. And he strangles her, and he throws garbage on her in a garbage heap, in a dump. Now, I'm seeing this on the table, and this is for pathologist Jackie Lee. And I said, "Jackie, how do you stand this day after day? How can you see this and still survive?" And she said, "Barbara, the most important thing you can do when you leave..."
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for stopping by. It is Tuesday in GTA Online, which means tomorrow on Wednesday, Rockstar will be previewing to us early all of their new GTA Online upcoming event week bonuses, discounts, properties, free rewards, challenges, cars, and more for players to participate in. Those changes take effect every Thursday morning, but on Tuesdays I like to give you guys a refresher and a reminder as we get towards the end of the weekly event. And this one really isn't all that special, although there are some things that are absolutely worth it that you need to take advantage of, particularly when it comes to some money bonuses you may be interested in or simply not. We have some cool cars, especially $0 vehicles you can check out, one of which you can see behind me right here. We're going to be talking about this in a little more depth later on in today's video. If you guys saw my free DLC vehicles guide though, we went all over it, and it is such a sweet car. So we're going to be talking about all that and more today, especially if you guys haven't been grinding this week or just are not aware of what's been going on with this particular week. Consider this your refresher and reminder. So thank you so much for tuning back in, and let's get started. And jumping into the rest of the bonuses that you can take advantage of for this week. One of the ones I want to highlight is this right here, the Clubhouse Contract Job Board at your MC Clubhouse. So if you own one, you can take advantage of double money and double RP on these Clubhouse contracts. On average, you probably make about 30 to 60K per mission, some very much so less if you don't complete all the objectives. But one of them to look out for is the Life and Death Bikes mission. You can complete it in under 5 minutes. You'll make $74,000, which is solid. All the MC work and MC challenges are also paying out double money and double RP this week as well. I don't really feel like fast traveling over to my counterfeit cash factory, but with that business, you can make double money on the sale missions this week. So if you apply the mansion production speed boost from your mansion, as well as the 35% buff that you can get from the car wash on your counterfeit cash sale missions, you can make in total $536,000 worth of profit per hour with the business, with a double sale mission bonus this week as well. Don't forget, if you don't want to run MC sale missions, you can also take advantage of double money on the street dealer sales. So you sell various products like your acid, your meth, your Coca-Cola, and your grass to the street dealers. Normally, you can make about $250,000 a day, but with the double money this week, that's $500K, $500,000, and you don't have to do MC sale missions. Count me in. And then lastly, when it comes to some other bonuses, the Lunar New Year stunt races, you have a couple days left to take advantage of these for 3 times money, or if you have GTA Plus, you're making 6 times money, and that ties in with the weekly challenge as well, because if you just win 2 stunt races, you'll complete this week's weekly challenge and earn $100,000. And just some other bonuses we have. The Community Combat Series is paying out double money and double RP, and then the Normal Community Series is also paying out double money and double RP as well. And if you want more info on any of this is just an overview. I talked about it a lot in my weekly update money guide from Friday, so check that out. Moving on to our major property and business discount for the rest of this week, it is on the Counterfeit Cash Factory MC business, plus all the upgrades and modifications you can make to it, like the security upgrade for it, the staff upgrade, as well as the equipment upgrade. All of which, if you're actually serious about running an MC business like this, you will need to actually take advantage in the most optimal and efficient and effective way possible. So you can get all these locations. The one I have is in the Grand Sonora Desert. I hope this is the last time I have to talk about this business for a long time, because I am burned out on MC sale missions. I've been talking about it for weeks while we've been getting them. We've been getting MC sale missions, sale bonuses, or even production boosts and bonuses with weekly updates for 2+ months now. Sick of it. And moving into the vehicle discounts for the rest of this week, we already talked about these in the weekly update guide, and I talked about which ones you should definitely check out and which ones may not be worth it, but we'll start off the Dink Adjuster Classic, 30% off, $553,000. If you want an OG Supra, this is definitely the one to get for the game. Next up, the Ocelot Jugular, you can get it for $857,000 or $643,000 with the trade price at 30% off. Definitely a good sports car I would recommend picking up. The classy Walton L35 stock on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, $912,590 at 30% off. The Vapid Slam Truck, $917,000 purchase price at 30% off. You can't really transport anything with this thing. I would stay away from it. The Vapid Retinue Mark II is on sale for $1.134 million or $850,000 with the trade price this week. The Volcar Nebula Turbo is on discount for $557,900 at 30% off. Then we have the Classy Drift Tampa, $696,500 at 30% off for this week. Could be worth it. I like driving it around. It's a cool car. The Canis Terminus, definitely a top 3 off-roader in the game, right up there with the Canis Camacho as well as the Classy Draugr. Maybe not as good as either, but definitely like right behind those. $1,314,000 purchase price at 30% off. 100% worth buying, even at full price. Then on Warstock, we have the Caracara, the 6x6 version with the bed-mounted turret for $1.242 million at 30% off for this week. The Insurgent Pickup Custom for $1.256 million or $945,000 with the trade price. This is absolutely worth it. You could fit 8 of your friends in here with you, which is just insane for a squad vehicle, especially as armored as this. And then both Cargo Bob variants, the normal Cargo Bob for $1,253,000 or the Cargo Bob Jetsam for $1.396 million, once again at 30% off for this week. Now that's everything for the vehicle discounts. Don't forget you have a limited time opportunity left finally to take advantage of free champagne in all the nightclubs, plus the next couple days you could still get free horse masks as well as tattoos. For the rest of this weekly event at the Diamond Casino and Resort, we have this absolutely beautiful Karen Sultan RS Classic. And this was the one I showed off at the beginning of today's video in the intro. With this car, you get very quick acceleration. The top speed is also really solid as well. It's definitely one of the stronger performers in the sports car class and category, especially as a Los Santos Tuners DLC vehicle. It's all-wheel drive. You get excellent traction. The car stays planted all the time throughout every single corner that you can take. Super controllable, very predictable handling, which is great as well. Overall, it's just easy to drive. What is there not to like about this car? And it's very good off-road. I mean, this is based on that like late 90s Subaru Impreza WRC rally car. It's that same generation and that same model of vehicle that Pro Drive performance for Subaru, I believe, did for those different rallies. And this thing is an absolute beast, so it's very good off-road. So let's spin the lucky wheel, and let's see if we can unlock another. We already have one, but I will always take a second vehicle of the same model here on this character. Absolutely, 100%, why not? I have more garage slots to fill, so please, give it to me. We're gonna go right past it. Oh, we're one notch away again, $50,000. We just had this happen, I think, 2 weeks ago. We were one notch away from winning the car as well, dang. At the LS Car Meet, your prize ride for the remainder of this weekly event is this beautiful Grotti Stinger GT. And in order to unlock this car, the prize ride challenge is very, very simple. You just need to finish top 4 in one LS Car Meet Series race just once, and you will get this vehicle. You don't need to do it for 2, 4, 5 days in a row, nothing like that. Just finish top 4 once, you get the car for free. It costs just under $900,000, I believe. It's like $879,000. And it's actually not a DLC vehicle. We haven't seen a Car Meet prize ride vehicle that hasn't been a DLC vehicle in quite a while. But nonetheless, when it comes to performance, you get strong acceleration and good top speed, especially for the Sports Classics class. It's actually very competitive in Sports Classics races. It handles pretty well when you're going like a normal speed, but if you're absolutely bombing a corner, honestly, high-speed driving with this car is a little bit weird. You can trigger some oversteer as well as fishtailing, but if you drive it smoothly, you do have good traction. Just have controlled inputs when driving it. You can't be super aggressive in this car. It's not a supercar, right? The durability is pretty average, same with the braking, so just be a little bit more careful when driving through the city with a lot of traffic. But as a grand tour feel for a vehicle, you definitely get that with the Grotti Stinger GT. It's quick enough. I think it's pretty stylish. You know, it's just not a razor-sharp race car or anything like that. At Luxury Autos, we have the following 2 vehicles, so let's check out their customization. We have the newer Ubermax Sentinel XS4 with a Junk Energy Livery customization looks pretty cool, honestly. Nice black rims on there. I don't think those are just the black stock rims. Those are aftermarket, I believe. But nonetheless, nice vehicle you could pick up with this customization for $1.481 million. And then let's move on over here. This is the Dinka Jester RR, but not just any Dinka Jester RR. It's the LSCM one, which means it's even worse than the original, less customization, and costs a fortune. Look at that purchase price, $2.290 million. That's insane right there. I don't find that worth it. If you want a Jester RR, just get the normal one. Just having the wide body kit with none of the rest of the customization you get with the normal one is not worth that purchase price. At the salvage yard, these are our vehicle robberies for the rest of this weekly update. So we have the BF Weevil, the standard range car for the week, featured in the McToney robbery. We have the Karen Everin, this week's mid-range vehicle, featured in the podium robbery, and then the Dubocci Champion, this week's top range car, featured in the Gangbanger robbery. I'm going to be going through all three of these live over on twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv, like I do every single week. So if you want to catch that live stream and watch me play through all three of these in a row, feel free to do so. And when it comes to this week's gun van stock and selection, well, let's check it out. Starting off, we have this military rifle featured right here. This is 40% off for all players in the game. Definitely worth picking up at that discounted rate. The combat shotguns featured here. This is actually going to be 30% off for GTA Plus members only. Then we have the battle rifle. This is a gun van exclusive weapon. If you want to get it, you have to buy it from here. We have the homing launcher, the MG, as well as the baseball bat. And the baseball bat is free this week. Now, also here at the LS Car Meet, we have the following 3 test drive vehicles to check out. We'll start off with the Benefactor Streeter. This is a pretty durable SUV. You know, it's got the lifted suspension for a Mercedes, which is kind of cool because it's better off-road than like a normal Mercedes SUV, but it's not going to be a top 5, top 10, or honestly even like a top 20 off-roader in my opinion. It's still fine though. It feels pretty heavy when you drive it. Top speed isn't great. Obviously, the Karen Sultan RS Classic we were talking about in rally function in a rally race would do better than this Streeter, even though this thing looks more equipped to handle the trails. But you do maintain really good momentum if you crash. So this thing has like a good amount of mass to it, and you can feel the weight of this vehicle while you drive. It has a $500,000 purchase price if you want to pick it up. Next up, my favorite out of these 3, the Dubocci Rapid GT Classic. This is modeled after the 1972 to 1989 Aston Martin V8 series. And with this car, handling's pretty decent. You get pretty good turning capability, but you do have a little bit of oversteer at high speed as well. I'd say the braking is below average. It's also not the most customizable, but that's fine because I feel like you don't need actual personalization options. Just putting a really good paint job that you like on this car will make it look unbelievable to you. It's got a nice classic design. I like the eye-catching paint jobs. I go with like it's like a darker blue, but with a brighter blue pearlescent, and the thing just pops. It looks super, super cool. And, you know, it's got some performance limitations, but it's just an older vehicle, but it's still nice to own. And if you do want to pick it up, $885,000 purchase price, I find the value in that. Next up, we have the Inus Cognoscenti Cabrio. Now, this is a sportier version of the sedan counterpart. You get more body roll with it, sportier exhaust note. I'd say better acceleration and better top speed compared to the normal Inus Cognoscenti, but it's not a top performer in the game in the sports class at all. The handling is pretty good, but the turning radius when you're going slow, it turns like a sailboat or a cruise ship or something. It's really weird. If you do want to buy this, it's going to run you $185,000. So even if you buy it and you don't like it, you're not going to waste a ton of your own money.
It's a coupe.
At Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsports car dealership and this in-game vendor, we have the following 5 vehicles, so let's talk about them. Starting off first, probably the best one offered here is the Dubocci JB, not to get confused with the JB700W, which is the actual weaponized version. This one just has the prop guns up on front, but this is a very classic sports car. It's based on the Aston Martin DB5, so awesome James Bond vehicle. Pretty good crash resilience, it's good for drifting, it's got a great top speed, decent acceleration, and pretty stable, but it is lightweight, so it's nice. It's nice and nimble. If you do want to pick it up, well, here, I'll show you the back real fast. I can't actually show you. If we inspect it, it'll run you $350,000. A little bit less than half the price of the weaponized one, I believe. This is the rear end. It looks awesome. Next up, this is the Inus Super Diamond. Not really worth it. It's inspired by the Rolls-Royce Phantom. This Super Diamond in the game gives you just average speed, modest acceleration. It's got a ton of weight, super long wheelbase, very sluggish in handling and in the corners. Really bad understeer. I don't like this car at all, but if you do want to buy it for yourself, it's going to run you $250,000. Next up, the Western Zombie Bobber. This is actually a pretty cool bike. It's fast, it's nimble. You get that large V-twin engine right there. Honestly, for the size of this bike too, surprising amount of torque and top-end speed with this bike. Great cruiser motorcycle. Just great for maneuvering in and out of city traffic, stuff like that. Pretty good suspension as well, so if you do take it off-road, you actually will do quite well. You know, it's not a dirt bike, but it surprisingly handles well off-road, which is awesome. You don't really slide or anything like that. I think it's a worthwhile addition if you like motorbikes in this game. This one's gonna run you $121,800. Next up, this is the Albany Alpha. And in this game, honestly, I do find this one worth buying if you would just want to add it to like a low-key garage you have. High top speed, quick acceleration, has really bad wheel spin, but it's lightweight, and look at the long wheelbase. It's rear-wheel drive, so for some reason, this thing just doesn't hook up from a dig, but the handling overall is nice and smooth. It's not bad once you get going. Braking's pretty nice. It's not a racer, obviously, but it's a pretty cool car, especially for $150,000. You really can't go wrong with it. Just, you know, if you don't like the looks, totally makes sense. Next up, the Inus Cognoscenti. So, straight line speed, decent, but it's a massive boat of a vehicle right here. Super sluggish, wider turning radius than like military vehicles. It's awful, like super weak brakes. Crash durability is pretty solid. This is the perfect mafia vehicle if you want that. And you can buy it for $254,000 this week. We're going to wrap everything up right here, though, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Drop a like if you guys did go on to enjoy. Of course, if you are new to the channel and you want to see more GTA 5 online content just like this, check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/HazardusHDTV for more GTA Online money grinding live streams. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon for the new weekly update, news and information. We're getting a brand new weekly update. Rockstar will be previewing that info to us early. Usually they do that every Wednesday afternoon between 2 and 3 p.m. Central Time in the US. That's UTC -6 as your time zone. So I'll see you guys then. Adios, amigos.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Today, I want to talk to you about size.
Who been talking to you?
Let me finish the sentence. Size and life.
Oh, okay, good. Because, you know, I'm just saying. Sometimes I feel like it's a little embarrassing down there.
I think there's much more conversation that could be had on that subject in this world.
Really?
Because physics matters in it, but typically when people talk about life, they only think of biology.
Of course.
Or at most, chemistry and biology.
Okay. I like the chemistry.
Physics is the substrate of it all.
You would say that,
No,
though.
stop.
Let's be honest.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's start with some basic facts.
Okay.
All right? When you're growing up, especially if you were a boy, they say, how strong are you? They would challenge you to this. And you would like show them your muscle.
Yeah.
Let me see
the gun show, baby.
Let me see the bicep.
Welcome to the gun show.
Okay.
Yeah.
What they're measuring is the area, the cross-sectional area of your muscle. So the bigger the muscle,
the stronger
it is.
Unless you are Bruce Lee. Little skinny Asian dude gonna whip your natural A double scribble.
So you need to know, however, that as your muscles get bigger, they become heavier. It becomes heavier according to the volume of the muscle, but the strength increases only as the cross-section of the muscle.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Think about very heavy animals have very thick limbs. You need thick limbs to hold up that much weight.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
Got that?
Yeah.
All right. As you get smaller and smaller, you don't need thick limbs. How thick is an insect leg?
Yeah, not thick.
Right. It's not. The ant picks up something that weighs as much as it does.
Right.
And walks around with it. The smaller you are, the even less you weigh for how small you are. Because weight scales as your volume. Weight scales as your radius cubed, but your strength scales as radius squared, which is basically your cross-section. This difference means as the animal gets larger, its weight outstrips the ability of its strength to hold up its body. So it needs really, really fat legs to compensate.
Gotcha.
As you get smaller, the weight starts going away fast because now the radius is getting smaller and smaller, and then the area basically wins because now your volume gets smaller faster than the cross-sectional area gets. So try this, right? If your radius is 2, then your volume goes as radius cubed. So what is 2 times 2 times 2? So you get what? 8. Okay. Now if your radius is a half.
Oh, it's going down.
It's going What's a half times a half times a half?
Right.
That's an eighth.
Right.
Okay. So you get this crossover point in the animal kingdom. That's how the smaller the creature, the bigger is the weight it can carry.
That's wild.
Relative to its own body weight.
That's amazing.
And the higher it can jump.
Right.
Because its body mass isn't much relative to what the legs are.
Which is the creepiest thing in the world when you see a kangaroo mouse.
Oh,
it's a tiny little mouse, and it can jump like 6 feet.
Like, or a flea, which is barely the size
barely
of thing,
visible.
And then they count how high above its height it can jump.
Right.
And it's 10 times its height, or something, what, 20, 30, whatever is that number.
Right.
But you ain't jumping that high above your height.
Never.
And neither is any other large macroscopic object. The laws of physics are dictating what your acrobatic skills will be depending on your size.
That's pretty wild.
It's no accident that there are no 6'5" gymnasts. Think about it.
There was
the smaller gym. was one.
There was
once,
one
that afternoon,
and that was the end of it.
So it's not an accident of physiology, it's the physics of physiology.
Right.
That when you are smaller, you in general will be stronger relative to your body weight.
That's true.
On top of that, there's more going on. If you walk towards the wall, can you then just crawl up the wall? No.
No.
You weigh too much.
Right.
However sticky your fingertips are,
no.
Even if you just had a candy cane, that's not going to get you up the wall. A spider can just walk to the wall and walk straight up the wall. Ants can walk straight up the wall.
And what about Spider-Man?
Okay.
Are you saying that it's like the laws of physics? He's violating the laws of
Executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. I hope that our region has the chance to see. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. We can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly. My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Rappel equipment so you don't end up as a pancake.
Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural. We had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and in his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution. And we will not forget our God. Can't do that. Today I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. Will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities.
Is this the sanitation department?
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
This is gonna be gross, but I'm down to embrace it if you are. I'll just embrace it from here. We gotta cause a hell of a mess out here to get the sanitation department to show up. Hit those sewage tanks with everything you
America
got.
will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have. The largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We're going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal, and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with your vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore confidence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
What the shit do you think you're doing? Hold it right there! Shit! I'll take this!
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
Why, hello, how you doing? Call me back when you figured out how that brain of yours works.
And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately.
Piece of garbage!
Our armed forces will be free to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
Yo, I got so much respect for you after that. Seriously. Ugh. And don't worry, once you drop everything off, we'll get it all cleaned up and ready for you on your first day on the job.
As the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made, and Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal...
All the employees at the Diamond have different security clearances based on what they do. But since we're trying to get into the podium storage...
overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. To Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. Is the lifeblood of a great nation, and right now our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do, and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am, the American people have spoken.
This cringy little shit knows where the key card is.
Please don't shoot! Don't shoot! Come on! Please, God, don't shoot me! Take it! Take it!
I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do. In America, the impossible is what we do best. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle treat their spirit or pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that we faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America's promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We're going to win like never before.
I'll kill you! Jackass!
Thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly. We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Trump, he was encouraging Congress this week to pass his newly unveiled health care plan. It's aimed at slashing costs for you and includes increased funding for rural areas. It was part of the big, beautiful bill.
It will create more competition, more transparency. It will expand health savings accounts for all Americans and send money to home savings accounts instead of to big insurance companies.
And Trump sent letters to 17 of the world's biggest prescription drug makers last week, calling on them to reduce prices on some products to much lower levels. The president wants these companies to provide the most favored nation drug pricing for Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial customers.
Under this policy, drug makers would have to basically index some of their medications to the lowest drug price in these comparative countries.
The president said, enough global free load. We should not be paying 3 times more for the exact same medication in the same box, made with the same factors.
Moments ago, President Trump launched Trump RX.
It allows you to bypass the middlemen of healthcare and purchase drugs directly from those who make these drugs. This is healthcare reform. If you want to see prices come down by 80, 90%, not 1 or 2%, then this is the path we've got to go. Nobody was bold enough and had the fortitude to take it on until President Trump.
Visit TrumpRx.gov. Search for your prescription drug on the Trump RX website. Marvel at the price you now pay versus what you used to pay. Call your pharmacist with your Trump RX coupon code and easily order your prescription. Now, enjoy healthcare at the greatest price.
Almost 20 million illegal immigrants come into our country has compromised our national security. These are not people here looking for a better life. if they had obeyed the law, stayed in their countries, and did it correctly, children wouldn't be dying. We are the face of why there is becoming change. I would just tell my daughter that I love her very much. I'm sure she's looking down, smiling, and saying, "Go, Mom." President Trump, thank you. Thank you for listening to my cry. I'm so encouraged about these next 4 years.
The U.S. Navy has always been the iron will of a proud and mighty nation pushing forward through the currents, through the spray of raging combat and the fog of naval war. From the American Revolution until today, the story of the U.S. Navy is a tale of loyalty, sacrifice, and commitment stretching back 250 years. The Navy has never failed to hunt, kill, and to win. Through it all, the United States Navy has kept the stars and stripes soaring high and proud above. You've conquered raging oceans and braved ferocious storms to vanquish America's enemies. America's Navy never, ever gives up the ship. We own the skies, we stalk the depths, and we rule the seas. God bless the United States Navy.
Please welcome the 1700 U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent.
This year, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation on earth. Enter Trump Account, the desire to empower our children and build a better America. By giving each newborn citizen a material stake, Trump accounts are a generational down payment on the American dream. I invite everyone to join us in this mission of making every American an asset owner. Thank you all for being here today.
Mr. Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
All right, bring the car.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. 6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years, 8 years, and we are just getting started. Unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps never witnessed again. The presidential election, November 5th, is a mandate like it has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states. giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country. And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history,
they own the most land.
Believe that our country is headed in the right direction, then the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain the quorum in the House and to cease any further disruption. That's your warning.
Oh, hi.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Okay,
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Scum on the earth! Fucking lowlife!
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, continue.
You fucking idiots!
For the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more
Let me
than
show you why I
400
have 4
executive
restraining
actions,
orders.
a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it.
You ain't gonna be walking out of here. I'd keep on walking if...
In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency.
You're dead!
Is the most successful in the history of our nation.
You maggot! Take cover! New clip!
And what makes it even more impressive is that, you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list. deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to resolve needs to bring a future that America deserves. And we're doing it. This is a bold action. On all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. Terminated the ridiculous Green New Stand. I withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us billions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American human rights. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally out of work. The last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. Unshackle our economy. I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first year. And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
Bye.
And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out?
Hey.
Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America. I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
You're through to your garage. You, need me to bring you a ride?
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley.
It's coming at you.
Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. Love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. Three years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male,
all right, the big day.
So hard,
it's just about time to steal this car right out of the diamond. You look the part. We all know what to do. So let's just rock this shit, huh?
Her athletic career, it was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
But yeah. It's just insane.
If you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming.
This college history is crazy, right? What a find! Nothing like it in the world! And we're about to drive it out of a place that's overflowing with raw sewage. Hey, at least our guy is good at cleanup.
Look, the record got $5. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer. What I've just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now because of us.
So the cleanup crew is already on the way. Just make sure you go in by the waste disposal entrance.
And we will.
You ready to get in there?
Go back.
Because it's time for you to shine.
Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
What's up? Come on in.
Here we go. You need some motivation? Because I got an actor friend in Vinewood, and I always amp him up. I'm really good at it, too. Here it is. Yo, you got this, fam! Just look for a guard, and they'll lead you to the mess. Once he's out of the picture, head straight to the nearest elevator.
You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job. A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency.
Okay, those disguises are officially useless up here away from the mess, so the guards will be on to you. Now you're looking for the service room, okay? Deal with any confrontation or hide from it. I never judge someone's choices in the casino.
The most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh, shit!
Go!
Forget stealth! Just get to the elevator hatch now!
Perhaps.
Get back to fingering your mouth. You weakling!
Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
You inbred asshole.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee